am so pleased to be visiting with the College of Education's art educator, Trina Harlow, who also happens to be the 2015 Kansas Art Education Association's Higher Educator of the Year. Congratulations. Trina Harlow joined the college just a few years ago, and her impact and enthusiasm can be seen throughout the college, and we're very fortunate to have her with us. Trina earned a bachelor's degree here at K-State and a master's degree in art education at Boston University. Her research interests include globalization, tradigital art, did I say that correctly?
You did.
Good.
You did.
Folk and refugee art. And so we're very thrilled to be visiting with her today. So Trina, talk to us about some specific research-based art education benefits for our schools.
I would love to do that. As an art educator, I have known for a long time the value of art education. Research has proven that schools that have the arts have higher standardized test scores, lower dropout rates, and less behavior issues. And these three proven research facts create a better learning environment in the school, a more engaging atmosphere, not just for the students who are participating in the art making, but also for the students who experience the art making. And this engagement travels across the student population to the faculty and staff through their own engagement and morale, and that spreads throughout the school district and the community. So art education really has a transformative power on communities. As an artist and an art educator myself, I've also seen the power that art education has in a student's education and allowing them to think logically and sequentially in their school efforts.
Very good. Well, one name pops out as just a pioneer in art education, Dr. Elliot Eisner.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about his work and impact on the field.
Dr. Eisner will always be known as the preeminent professor of art education in the United States. He's internationally acclaimed, and one of his most significant works that he's quite famous for is the 10 Lessons the Arts Teach. It includes things like the arts celebrate multiple perspectives, and that problems can have more than one solution, and that words and numbers cannot exhaust what we know, and that small differences can have large effects. Probably one of my favorite points is that the arts teach children to say what cannot be said. We explore Dr. Eisner's work in our art education programs here at K-State. We investigate his research, we learn from it, we write about it, we include it in all of our coursework.
Very good. One thing that is so important to the College of Education is that we prepare teachers to be successful, but we don't want that to end when they walk across the stage at Bramlage Coliseum.
Yes.
And so talk about your work focused on our early career teachers and why that's important.
One of the things that I am really the most excited about here at the College of Education in our art education program is that we're continuing that level of support for our first-year teachers. As educators, you and I know that that first year of teaching can be difficult, and really the first 5 years of teaching, our students need the support they receive from those of us that have been there and done that. And so one thing that we're doing is we're reaching out and supporting our graduates, and we're also providing professional development here that they can come back to. Recently, we hosted some potters from outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, from the Santa Dominga Pueblo. It's now returned to its original name, which was the Kiowa Pueblo. But I was thrilled to take the potters out to Miltonville, USD, where one of our graduates is a first-year teacher. And the potters lectured and they demonstrated their pottery at the elementary school and the high school. And the one thing that was so incredible is the students were spellbound. And the school would actually like them to come back and do a whole school assembly with every student in the district. The thing that's probably the most interesting about this visit is Miltonville has not had an art program in 40 years. And through the dedication of a retired teacher from Miltonville who secured a grant for the arts, they were able to hire our graduate, and she is out there. She is showing that school district the amazing power that art education has to transform the school and the community. And it's been very exciting to watch her do that.
Yes, absolutely. So as a former K-12 art teacher from hands-on in the field experience teaching art, talk about the value of art in P-12 schools.
I often think of how actually, this answer might surprise you a little bit because my answer isn't necessarily going to be what's happening in the school.
Okay.
I think one of the values of K-12 art education is how it transformed the community. And we often think of communities that have a visible arts presence as communities where the quality of life for residents is extremely high and where visitors enjoy coming to the community. Just like our outdoor walking spaces and walking trails and outdoor nature places increase the quality of life in our communities, so do outdoor sculptures and murals and art that we might see around the community. For instance, in Lindsborg, Kansas, we have their Swedish horse that's seen all over the community. Think about communities like Lindsborg and Austin, Texas, and War Eagle, Arkansas, and Aspen, Colorado, and Danbury, Connecticut, and now Greensburg, Kansas. Small and large communities all over. The quality of life goes up, the economic infrastructure of the community grows, and I like to say the happiness factor in the community goes up. I think that's a tremendous value that we see in communities that have vibrant art programs in their schools.
Absolutely. So building on the concept of community, so much is going on from a global perspective in our world today. How do you see some of those current world issues impacting art education?
Well, there is a lot going on in our world right now. And the world situation regarding refugees, I believe, is something that's going to impact our United States classrooms soon through children that are assimilating into our schools because their families are assimilating into our communities, or even children that are joining families from the United States through foster care or adoption. We also have refugee camps that are appearing throughout the United States. And I just really believe that art education is going to be a significant vehicle in helping these newcomer students assimilate into our K-12 schools with the welcoming students. And we know that children's thoughts and emotions are manifested in their artwork. Just like Dr. Eisner said, the arts give children a vehicle to say what cannot be said. So I believe that there's going to be some significant opportunity for art education in the future.
Important legislation was just passed in the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate that assists the arts in our schools. In fact, this legislation was just signed into law by President Obama on December 10th. So what can you tell us about this legislation and its potential impact?
Oh, Dean Mercer. This is a very exciting time for art education. In fact, on December 10th, there was a collective celebration on social media by art educators all over the United States. So, a little bit of background. This fall, the U.S. House of Representatives passed H.R. 5, the Student Success Act, and then the Senate passed S. 1177, the Every Student Achieves Act of 2015. Because it passed in both the House and Senate, it went to conference committee, and the name was changed to Law S. 1177, the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, as it's going to be known. And it replaces the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. It's going to take a while for this large law to be administered, but it did some very exciting things for art education. It didn't require schools to have art education, but it opened up a avenue for funding. And some of the things it did was it will now allow Title I schools to use their federal funding for the arts. It will allow schools that have Native Americans, Native Alaskans, and rural schools to apply for student enrichment grants. These grants are going to be available about mid-October of 2016, and I really see that grant as having a significant impact on Kansas. One thing that I'm very excited about is it redefined what core classes are in our schools and included the arts in the definition of core classes, and it included arts in STEM education. So these are the 4 things that this new law has done for art education. What's even more exciting is very soon our legislators are going to vote on a new law. And surprisingly, it's expected to pass, but of course we'll wait to see what happens with that. This new law will require arts education in all K-12 schools. I actually spoke to Senator Bonamici's office from Oregon. She's the congresswoman who added the arts amendment to the law. And it's just so exciting to me to see our legislators supporting arts education. You know, whether I have been teaching K-12 art education or teaching rural students in Uganda in Africa, or Quechua children high in the Andes Mountains in Ecuador, or even some of the world's wealthiest children in a private school in Switzerland, and now teaching future teachers here at K-State, the one thing that I know that I've seen with my own eyes is the visible difference that art education can make in our students and our students' lives in our schools. I often say that I don't want our classrooms, I don't want our art classrooms to be assembly lines of production. We want them to be learning labs of discovery. And I feel like that art education has that significant power to do that. I think it's a good day for art education, but Dean Mercer, I also think it's a great day for education.
I so agree. I love a learning lab of discovery.
Yes.
What a wonderful phrase for us to hold on to
Yes.
as we think about art classrooms. So I said at the beginning, you were making such an impact on the College of Education, on our faculty, on our culture, on our future teachers. And one thing you've done that's been so powerful is bringing artists in to expose us to such a wide variety of techniques and cultures. Yes. Talk just for a minute about what you've brought today
I'd love to do that. So what we have here on the table, except for this piece, all of these pieces have been done by artists that we have actually brought to K-State since I've been here. Last spring, we started the Aprendiendo dell'Arte, Learning from Art series, and we brought in these 2 artists. This was done by an artist from Oaxaca, Mexico. His name is Agustin Prudencio Cruz, and his family carves these beautiful sculptures from the copal tree, and then his family paints these. It's a family business. And then this was done by Silao Valdez, who's from Nayarit, Mexico, and it's Huichol yarn painting. And it's done by applying a wax rosin on a board, and then each of these threads is just meticulously laid on. This was done by Robert Tenario, who's said to be the most preeminent living Pueblo potter on the face of the earth. I have some larger pieces, but they would fill too much of the table. But he is part of the family of the Pueblo potters that we brought this fall. And then this piece is done by 2 artists from Pakistan, Naina and Surinder Velasi, and Raleigh quilts are a functional item used in Pakistan to store clothes in out in the Thar Desert region. They come in all shapes and sizes. And then this piece was done by a Kansas artist, Kristen Gehring. In the fall, we're trying to have a regional or national focus, and in the spring, an international focus. And Kristen came, and she paints the Flint Hills of Kansas, and so it was exciting to have her here this year. But I really enjoy exposing our students, both our elementary ed students and our art education students, to what artists are doing around the world. I think it broadens their scope of the value of art education, but also I think it helps them understand that what might be a craft or a way for some people to add to their income provides a food in the mouths of artists all over the world in developing countries. So I'm also working with the International Folk Art Market in Santa Fe as the volunteer education director for the International Folk Art Market, which brings artists from developing countries all over the world. And these artists will all be at the market. So it's really nice to see that art education doesn't have to be about holiday decorations and the elements and principles of art. As you mentioned, traditional art earlier, art education is so much more, and in the 21st century, it really has to be so much more. I think that art education has spent so much time looking backwards that the 21st century is knocking on our door. It's here, and it's requiring us to look forward. And through digital art and globally inspired art and really integrating other disciplines into the art classroom, we're elevating the entire role of art education in our schools.
Well, thank you so much
I've enjoyed this.
for inspiring us, for inspiring our students, and for the ripple effect that has on communities wherever our students go to teach. That impact is pretty powerful. So
Well, thank you.
And thank you for joining us today.